All right, the Seahawks won the Super Bowl last season. Not only did they win the Super Bowl, but they blew out my favorite team by like 60 points. That's no exaggeration, by the way. They blew out the Saints by at least like it was bad. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was bad. Not many times do I cry watching like the NFL, but that day I shed a couple tears and stuff like that. But hey, let's see. They got like I think this video is a prediction. Or it's not a prediction, it's like shit, we finna find out.
This Seahawks team, the way Mike McDonald has rebuilt it, revolutionized the defense, was one of the best players, one of the best teams in the NFL. What have you seen that stands out to you on the coaching job Mike McDonald has done?
He's just been phenomenal. People are talking about the Seahawks having a dynasty. That's what they're talking about. New dynasty Seahawks. Y'all take a look at this. Seahawks are just getting started. Are we talking and are we witnessing a new dynasty?
And then they have a defense that is fantastic and young. And so, absolutely, I look at this like a dynasty. This to me does not look like a team that's going to...
A dynasty. Wow, you said a dynasty.
So, absolutely, I look at this like a dynasty. This to me does not look like a team that's going to fall off a shelf. They look like they're still in the ascending phase.
Does this guy know he's on TV? What is this wardrobe like?
As a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
It's a crazy wardrobe choice.
I'm gonna say it. I think the Seattle Seahawks are building a dynasty. And honestly, I don't think enough people are paying attention to what's actually happening right now in the Pacific Northwest.
Oh,
because the Seahawks winning Super Bowl 60, it wasn't a one-off and it wasn't a fluke. They bullied the Patriots for 60 straight minutes.
They did.
And Sam Darnold and his team lifted the Lombardi Trophy at Levi's Stadium. And now, this February, yeah, they might be able to do it all over again. This is a team that's ready to run it back in 2026 and cement their place as one of the best dynasties the league has seen in years. And if you are new around here, my name...
They lost Tyreek Woolen, didn't they? They lost to the Eagles.
Best dynasties the league has seen.
Yeah, Woolen's on the Eagles now, I'm pretty sure.
Years. And if you are new around here, my name is K-Rich Productions.
They lost our offensive coordinator, Clint Kubiak, to the Raiders also. Clint Kubiak, Saints legend.
And today...
Yeah, I just realized, y'all took all the Saints like legends, my nigga. Raheem Shaheed, Clint Kubiak, y'all just took him. That's weird.
We're going to be breaking down exactly what makes the Seahawks team so terrifying, why the dark side defense isn't slowing down anytime soon, and why the rest of the NFC should genuinely be scared of what Seattle is about to do. Because make no mistakes, the Seattle Seahawks are building a dynasty right now, and there might not be a single team in the league that can stop them. All right, now you probably clicked on this video and you're watching this video right now, and you're probably like, Kyle, K-Rich, what makes this Seahawks team so good anyway? And
defense.
To be honest, it's just kind of everything that they have. Really, it's just they have so many good players.
It felt over from jump. It really did. Because once again, that Seattle defense jumped all over the opponent in front of them. And they were all over that New England offensive line. They dominated the trenches. Kenneth Walker III dominated the running game.
Running back, they got to answer they got to answer the thing at running back because they lost Kenneth Walker and shit. Holy stutter, my nigga. Stop fucking stuttering, dog. What the fuck?
Their place kicker dominated the place kicking.
Alright, TSC Glaze.
And Mike McDonald.
Is this the same nigga who said Ben Simmons was better than LeBron? He said he was the guy who said, hey LeBron, we're good, bro. Ben Simmons is here. Didn't he say that? Or is that somebody else?
Dominated the coaching. He dominated this.
It's definitely somebody else.
The minute he took over.
I mean, as 2025 went on too, it really became clear too that this Seattle Seahawks team was one that could beat you in so many different ways. I mean, in just his second year as a head coach too, Mike McDonald has this team built entirely in his own image, which is so unique. They're a hard-nosed physical football team that's going to leave everything out on the field every single week. And I really think that when the Seattle Seahawks team is at full health and just full strength, they are a nightmare to deal with on both sides of the ball. But of course, as we all know, defense wins championships.
I think we did a tremendous job today. We were honestly mad that they scored it all. We were trying to get a shutout in the Super Bowl, make history, and put a stamp on that dark side defense that we've had this year.
This is after they won the Super Bowl. This dude has like a straight face and is complaining that they scored. That's crazy, bro. This is a crazy mentality.
Make history and put a stamp on that dark side defense that we've had this year. We have killers across the board.
By the time Super Bowl 60 was done too, we were already talking about where this dark side defense ranks among the all-time greats. Of course, the last Seahawks Super Bowl win was defined by their legendary Legion of Boom defense, led by Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, and Earl Thomas. Somehow, though, this one is just as good, arguably, if not better than that one. And really, I just think the dark side is such a perfect name for this unit, because this is a team that takes offenses to such a dark place where they don't want to go and suffocates them the entire game. But really, I think the scariest thing about this defense is that it doesn't necessarily have that like one standout player that is their entire game plan on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, you could argue Nick Amanawari and all these other guys, but for real, when you think about what you're up against here against this defense, there are just monsters everywhere on this defense. Up front, you got to deal with Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy, and if you somehow manage that, you've got to account for the ageless DeMarcus Lawrence coming off the edge.
This reminds me of they remind me of the Saints a lot. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Plus Drake Thomas and Ernest Jones coming up the middle. Oh, okay, cool. So now let's just do a hypothetical real quick and say that your offensive line withstands those guys. Okay, cool. But now you want to throw at Devon Witherspoon, Julian Love, and Nick Amanawari? Yeah, that doesn't sound like fun. Imagine doing that every single play all afternoon long. And you start to get the idea exactly why this defense managed to pull off what they did during the 2025 season.
The Seattle Seahawks are now officially your number 1 seed in the NFC.
Why is he yelling? Jeez, we can hear you, man. Saying his mic is up, like his mic is literally up his throat. Bro, chill.
They have the best defense in the NFC, both in total yards allowed and also in scoring defense. Their defense has been unbelievable all season. Fellas, the Seahawks are cooking.
The defense gave up 17.2 points per game last year, the least in the entire NFL. I'm talking less than the Texans, less than the Broncos, less than anybody. It was a unit that nobody quite figured out throughout the entire season. And Ernest Jones and Devon Witherspoon and Leonard Williams all earned second-team All-Pro selections for their efforts on the year. Everybody on this defense is just great players, but they're all playing such a huge role throughout the season, including in the Super Bowl just destroying of the Patriots. Of course, all those guys that were just listed to are all superb players, and they all played such a huge role throughout the entire season, including in that Super Bowl demolition of the Patriots. But hands down, the most important guy for this defense, he's standing on the sideline.
And any quarterback of any age, KW, the first time they see Mike McDonald's defense, gets beat up.
Yeah.
And that dates back to his time.
When the Seahawks first hired Mike McDonald, the reasoning was pretty obvious. If you were going to spend 4 games a year coming up against Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan's offenses, you probably want a defensive guy, right? Well, that's the thing. The Seahawks didn't just get a defensive guy. They got the defensive guy. In just 2 seasons, he's become basically the gold standard for defensive coaches in the league, and he's clearly well-liked and well-respected within the locker room as well. On top of that, too, he's obviously identified exactly what he wants out of this unit, and they play with such an aggression and a violence that the rest of the league just cannot match. And yes, of course, over the offseason, they lost a couple of guys on this unit. They lost the safety, Kobe Bryant, cornerback Reek Woolen, linebacker Boye Mafe, and all 3 of those guys are somewhere just headed with better offers. But the core of this unit is ready to run it back in 2026 and continue.
I know who they did pay though. On the offensive side, they paid my boy Raheem Shaheed. That's a real street ball legend right there, bro. He plays football like he's on the streets, game like dead serious. He reminds me of Deshaun Jackson a lot. Raheem Shaheed. He actually reminds me of myself when I was in kindergarten.
Last year was the true breakout season for the Emerald City route artist himself, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and it only took him a few weeks to show everybody that this Seattle Seahawks offense wasn't going to miss DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett one bit. He put up 1,700.
They actually got better without them boys.
193 yards on the year, leading the league, and he posted the 8th best receiving season in league history. I mean, JSN can just do anything he wants to on the football
field. The 8th best in league history? That's crazy, dog.
And he can beat
Was it better than Michael Thomas's? Probably not.
defenders at every single level. And on top of that too, he can make the very best guys in the league just look silly on any play. Even as last year went on, teams had to double team him at times, which didn't even work either. I mean, in that NFC Championship game alone against the Rams, Smith-Njigba had 10 catches for 153 yards and a touchdown. That night, there just wasn't an answer to JSN and Sam Darnold because these two guys have become one of the league's very best quarterback receiver duos. And as dominant as he is too, he's not the only guy you have to fear on the offense. Cooper Kupp, he's coming back for a 10th year in the league, and Rashid Shaheed is one of the most explosive deep threats in the entire NFL. Then when you add in young guys like Corey Horton,
there you go, Rashid Shaheed. That's what I was talking about. Right? That's that man. Yeah. By the way, Cooper Kupp's he's the oldest 33-year-old I ever seen in my life. Like, no way Cooper Kupp is still 33, bro.
tight end 8.
He might be younger than 33.
Gardner, who are only going to get better in that offense. It's looking scary. In fact, the only negative for this unit during the offseason was that the loss of their running back. They did lose the Super Bowl MVP in Kenneth Walker, who left for the Kansas City Chiefs.
That's a big deal.
But in the draft, John Snyder found his replacement with pick 32.
And with that, with the 32nd pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Jadarian Price,
There it is.
Notre Dame.
Even after spending much of his college career in Jeremiah Love's shadow, some of you might not be sure exactly what to think about.
Yo, what? That's a crazy trade. I guess it's true, but damn, this sounds crazy.
Jadarian Price, or who he even is. But don't make a mistake, this is a guy who will make a difference to this offense from week 1 against the Patriots. With him and Charbonnet together in the backfield, this offense is going to be terrifying to deal with every single week, and next year, and the next year after that. Because here's the scariest part of this Seattle Seahawks team. Most of these guys, you could argue, they haven't even hit their peaks yet. If you look at key guys on the dark side defense, only DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard...
But did they re-sign Jake Boo-Boo?
The scariest part of this Seattle Seahawks team. Most of these guys, you could argue, they haven't even hit
Did they re-sign him, the Jake Boo-Boo guy?
their peaks yet. If you look at key guys on the dark side defense, only DeMarcus Lawrence and Leonard Williams are over 30.
Damn, DeMarcus Lawrence still in the league? This time, damn. DeMarcus Lawrence, I don't know, man. He getting up there.
This is a defense full of guys who are in their prime and about to reach it. Guys like Byron Murphy, Nick Montavori, Devon Witherspoon, Ernest Jones, and Drake Thomas are going to be terrorizing offenses in Seattle for years to come. It's easy to see, too, that in the last couple of seasons, John Snyder has absolutely nailed the draft, and he's identified exactly the kind of guys that Mike Macdonald needs for this team. And then Macdonald, he's basically taken them and put them together to create an absolute juggernaut of a team. Last year's Super Bowl win in Santa Clara felt really just like the payoff for 2 years of incredible work that Macdonald and company have put together in Seattle. But if we're being honest, it wasn't the end of this team's journey. It was the beginning of a new dynasty, I argue. But again, when you listen to the noise of this offseason, it doesn't seem like it.
The one thing I would note is this, and I think there's a cool, almost Jekyll and Hyde, spy versus spy deal with this. Seattle's sitting back with a Lombardi in their bookshelf, and nobody's talking about the Seahawks. And they beat them not only in that Week 16 game on the Charbonnet play, but they beat them also in the NFC Championship game. And as McVay gets all this sizzle and Stafford gets all this talk, quiet old Sam Darnold and Mike Macdonald are sitting there in Seattle just watching us talk about the Rams and call them the favorites. And they're sitting there and they're just... They're looking at the Lombardi Trophy.
And don't get me wrong either, it's true. For all the hype...
Wow, that's a great point. So basically, the whole West is cooked. The whole West is... It's going to be the Rams or the Seahawks going back to the Super Bowl on the West side. Let's just be real. Damn, that was very insightful. Very great video. Who gonna win the Super Bowl this year? Y'all going back to back or no? Let me know. Real. All right, like, subscribe. Let me know.